Wow. We could say so much since the last time we recorded. But welcome to Brussels. Wow. So to start, I guess that we could just say we had a pretty terrible night. Again, different stuff with the trains, like no internet connection, not knowing where to get off, like which stop. So we missed the connection to Brussels and then waited for like 30 minutes to go back to the station just to go. So overall, yesterday we probably lost an hour or two just on like transportation issues. But then we got to Brussels, and that's where we were saying we were supposed to have a hotel with like a jacuzzi in the living room, and it was so nice. But we get in, and it's like some disgusting bathrooms, just like not what we expected at all. The toilets were cracked. There were bars on everything. We could barely like move. There was like mold in the shower. Like the room was horrible. The TV wouldn't work. It was nothing close to anything we booked online. And then we couldn't even get inside because it was like a self-check-in type hotel and the cards were in some type of locked mailbox. We couldn't open the door. We couldn't open the mailbox. Nothing was working. And there was us and two other people waiting outside just to get in. And then somebody finally let us in that was coming out. And then from there, trying to figure everything out, and we finally got into our room, and again, it was disgusting. And then we were like, oh my God, it's like 12 at night. We got to find some food. So I ordered Uber Eats, and the place said it was right down the street. It said 3-minute walk. So $20, 4 burritos. I thought it was a great deal. Picking that up and going to sleep because it's already way past our bedtime. And plus, this was when we said we wanted to sleep in. So at this point, it's like 1 at night. And then I walk to the place, and there's no restaurant. It's all just houses. And I'm just like, oh my God, can this night get any worse? My phone is at 4%. And then I'm calling the person. He doesn't speak any English. I'm translating stuff on Google Translate. And he's basically like trying to tell me the address. And then after 30 minutes, he finally texts me the address. And it is a 55-minute walk. It's like 20 degrees, 1 at night. We feel like we just got scammed off the hotel. We barely got in. We're so unhappy. And like the Uber Eats thing, like it couldn't get any worse. My phone's about to die. So I ride a Lime scooter 25 minutes in the freezing cold over cobblestone. And we were in like such a sketchy part of town. And I get to the place of this address this guy texted me. No restaurant again. And I'm about to like freak out. I'm so upset. And then I call him again, and he walks out of his apartment and hands me a bag of food. And then I was like, what is going on, bro? And I just ride home. My hands are like purple. Oh my God. And then we just ate the food, went to bed. Then there was just more issues. Like I tried to reach out to Uber Eats. They said there's nothing that could help me. Sophia was on the phone with the hotel company. They were being super difficult. She was also trying to buy an eSIM, and then it wasn't working for her phone. And like, there was probably like, and also my phone was, again, it was at 1% when I ended the ride for Lime. So if my phone would have died, then the Lime would have kept going all night until I got it again, and then re-went. And of course the zone to park the Lime scooter was nowhere near the hotel, and I had to walk like 20 minutes after I did the Lime. The Lime was like $9. I was riding for like, again, like 30, 40 minutes, whatever it was. Brutal night. We ended up going to bed by like 2 a.m. Woke up at like noon, and then that turned into like 2 p.m. going to sleep again. And now we got out of the house by like 3:34. So that's where we're starting today. So it's around 4 p.m. in Brussels. Super bad opinion. But we will try to start the day fresh and have a good day. But yeah, that's what happened up until now.
Mm-hmm. So to start the day off, pretty good and pretty full. We got 48 pieces of avocado and cucumber sushi, and then 8 pieces of the chicken pocket sushis, all for under $30. Yeah, it should have cost about like $55. Should have been like a pretty expensive meal, but at least Uber does kind of help at least with the food-wise stuff. But other than that, let's just eat good food, try to have a good day, try to have a good impression about Brussels. So pretty excited to eat this food finally.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird place so far. The areas outside the city center are so like kind of run down and sketchy, and there's spray paint everywhere, and there's homeless people. Not what we expected at all, but as we get closer to the city center, it's starting to open up. I mean, there's a ton of construction going on, so that doesn't really help either with like our, you know, viewing. But yeah, weird vibe. But hopefully as we get really close to the city center, you know, we start to feel like better.
We are at the
Manneken
Pis
Pis.
statue. It's right there. And we are currently on our way to our walking tour.
So we're on our walking tour right now. They're leaving, so I'll try to be quick. But behind me is the Grand Place. Belgium was being attacked. 90% of it was actually destroyed in flames. This is the only building, one of the only buildings that survived. And the story that was just told to us was in the 14th and 15th century, they would do the laws and the prosecutions in this building. And then over there, the scary looking building is where the king lived, and then he would do the final sentence of the convicted person. And actually, one of the things that happened was the person convicted was actually a pig that they cut off their head, because in the 15th and 14th century, they believed like witches and ghosts and monsters could be in animal or even plants. So a lot of English law is based off things being like bewitched. So they ended up killing a lot of animals and even just like plants due to thinking a different way that we do now. But right in the center of this square is where a lot of these executions would happen. And, you know, things like mass murder of like just people like being burned alive and like their heads cut off. It's crazy. This tour's crazy so far. Let's keep it going. The part of the tour right now, we're rocking up some of the actual city streets and getting out of the city square. Behind me is a bar called Vertigo, which we just learned is this part of the city is where kind of like the prostitutes or poor people or whatever the lowest class of people would be. And then at night, they would get kicked out of the city and be pushed outside of the city walls. So here in Belgium, we've learned whenever there is an issue, the person would be slaughtered in the center. There was no like second chances. And the city walls are not just for defense, they're also for regulating trade and for making sure the right people are inside the city, whether that's like the higher class people or, again, just pushing out the low end of society. So that bar actually has a tunnel in it to where those lower class people could come in and out unregulated and do trade that way. So walking up that street we were just on, now we are at the top of the street, and this was actually an old graveyard to, again, where what I was talking about of the mass murders and the executions. This is where they would put the bodies, and this was basically just made out of all sand and like mainly stone. So when there were a bunch of people being killed and being put into this graveyard on a rainy day, the sand and the water would raise to the top, so all the people would actually slide down the hill, and it was pretty disgusting. So just imagine this is a graveyard of people on the top of the hill, and again, on a rainy day, the bodies would raise out of the ground and slide down the hill, and then all the dogs would have them in their mouths, and it was disgusting. But then they took the graveyard and put it at the bottom of the hill to where the poor people lived, because if the poor people had the highest death ratio, or they, you know, died the quickest, they were closer to the graveyard anyway. And then he was saying that they also made some type of like crossbow shooting range down there to practice. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a pretty dark tour, but pretty cool to know this, because we would have passed all these statues and areas and just were like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, definitely take advantage of these free walking tours. Good job, Sophia, on doing this. We're gonna stop trying to skip the walking tours or not really think that much of it and really focus more on these walking tours. Super cool. All done with that walking tour. We ate the remaining of our sushi. That walking tour was called The Dark Side of Brussels, and it was by Legends Tours, and very great. I think it was around 2 hours. We learned a ton. Very happy with that experience. The Grand Place, super lit up. This is probably going to be the coolest grand area or city center that we go to. Definitely probably a 10 out of 10 city center with all the gold, everything lit up. I love all the stone people, statues on the side of the buildings. It kind of reminds me of the, I think, cathedral in Milan, where there's just all the stone figures all up on the building. But overall, Brussels, it definitely did save itself. I wish we did have a little bit more time for sure. Maybe a 8 point.
Yeah, probably like 8.5.
8.5, yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say. Belgium's really cool. Obviously, the typical thing to say is if you want waffles, fries, or beer,
And
definitely,
chocolate.
chocolate, yeah, I forgot. So definitely come here. We went to Ghent, we went to Bruges, we went to Brussels. If I had to rank them, I would say Bruges, then Brussels, then Ghent.
Yeah.
But Ghent had the castle stuff there. We didn't get to go in it, but that's just its own complete, you know, kind of category when it comes to like old castles that you can go into. And then Sophia said that someone said online that it was like the best European castle in Ghent, so that could be an option. I'm really sad we didn't get to go in there besides the basement, which was just free. You could just go in there, but the tour was like sold out. I think you have to get there before 4:40, but tickets can sell out a few days ahead, but you can go there in person and just ask if they have any other spots available. Brussels was really cool. Our last stop for Belgium will be tomorrow, going to Antwerp. So maybe there we'll do like some like beer tastings, because we kind of been just getting like random ones. So maybe we should try something like darker. I'm not really sure. We also have to maybe get some fries, but pretty good experiences here. Really liking this start of the trip, all these little kind of unknown places. I mean, obviously Brussels is super known, but I'm just saying, like, getting away from London and Paris, having less tourists. There was like really no one here. You would think this would be super packed, but obviously I think it's a Thursday.
It's also the winter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we're gonna see all these amazing places with not a lot of people, or just kind of locals. Excited for the next place, Antwerp, and then off to the Netherlands, starting in Rotterdam for a half day, and then Amsterdam, and then Groningen, and then on to Germany, I believe. So Belgium was great. Belgium overall, maybe a 8.2, I guess.
Yeah, 8.2, 8.5. It was good.
8. Okay, we'll just say 8.4. Really good times. Really, 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 really good food.
Yes.
We wanted to be eating less, but everything was so good, and you know, it seems like that's kind of the main thing to do. Try all the different foods. Love all the German and the European buildings. It's so cool. We didn't get to see it in Paris at all. Really, all the like grand, super tall, connected European buildings with like amazing architecture on the tops of the buildings, and just super grand and old buildings. Everything cobblestone roads. Really excited for this start of the European trip, and we will see you tomorrow.
Yes. Bye-bye.
This building is a government official building, and it will be used for conviction and trials. But the scaffolding of this building has been up for 42 or 41 years. And actually, and again, the reconstruction has only taken place starting last year. They're doing the outside first and the inside second. And he said that there has been 400 million euros being put into this building as far as the reconstruction. So I thought that that was a crazy fact. And he also said that one of his buddies said the scaffolding actually has scaffolding on it to reconstruct the old scaffolding that's 40 years old. So there's just construction on construction on construction going on in this building, but hopefully it gets done. And again, if you could just imagine, if you're 5 years old, that was, you know, one of the only or first people that got to see the building before the construction. So pretty crazy that you could have lived in Brussels all your life and you're 40 years old and you would have never have even seen what the building actually looks like.